The Rise of Lucky Luciano, A Game of Chance. Sicily, 1906. The idyllic beauty of the Mediterranean island belled the hardships that many of the inhabitants faced. The Luciano family was no exception. Born Salvatore Luciano, the future Charles Lucky Luciano spent his early years in Licciata Friuli. In 1907, his family joined the surge of Italian immigrants seeking a better life in America. Upon arriving in New York City, young Salvatore quickly learned that survival meant navigating a brutal, unforgiving world. He fell in with a gang of street urchins, where street-smart instincts, charisma, and natural leadership skills emerged. His reputation for having uncanny luck earned him the nickname Lucky, which would stay with him for the rest of his life. As he grew older, Lucky's involvement in crime deepened. He joined the notorious 5 Points gang, where he met key figures that would shape his future, including Meyer Lansky and Benjamin Bugsy Siegel. Together, they formed a powerful alliance that would define the underworld for decades to come. Lucky's rise in the Mafia was marked by his ability to broker agreements and navigate the treacherous world of organized crime. He gained the trust of mob boss Joe the Boss Masseria, who saw potential in the young Luciano and took him under his wing. In the late 1920s, a violent power struggle erupted between Masseria and the rival boss, Salvatore Maranzano. Igniting the infamous Castellamarese War, Lucky found himself in the crosshairs of a conflict that threatened to tear the Mafia apart. Recognizing that the old ways were holding the Mafia back, Lucky and his allies plotted a daring coup. In April of 1931, they orchestrated the assassination of Masseria at a Coney Island restaurant. With Masseria out the way, Maranzano declared himself the boss of bosses and reorganized the Mafia into 5 families. However, his reign was short-lived. Fearing for his own position, Lucky collaborated with Lansky, Siegel, and other trusted associates to eliminate Maranzano, successfully assassinating him. In the wake of the Castellamarese War, Lucky Luciano seized the opportunity to modernize the Mafia. He established the Commission, a governing body composed of representatives from the 5 families. The initiative moved decentralized power, promoted cooperation, and allowed the Mafia to operate more efficiently. Lucky's influence continued to grow as he expanded the criminal empire into new ventures like narcotics, gambling, and prostitution. His partnership with Jewish gangsters like Lansky and Siegel allowed the Mafia to diversify its operations, making it even more powerful. Despite his success, Lucky's luck eventually ran out. In 1936, he was arrested and convicted of charges of compulsory prostitution, a conviction engineered by New York's crusading prosecutor, Thomas E. Dewey. Lucky was sentenced to 30 to 50 years in prison, but continued to run his empire from behind bars. During World War II, the U.S. government, desperate to secure the Mafia's assistance in securing the New York waterfront and intelligence in Sicily, struck a deal with Lucky. In exchange for his help, he was released from prison in 1946 and deported to Italy. The now legendary mobster spent the remainder of his life in Italy, occasionally visiting Cuba and maintaining his influence in American Mafia from afar. Despite several attempts to return to the United States, he was never granted re-entry. Lucky struggled to reestablish himself as a force in the underworld. Hindered by his deportation status and the distance from his U.S. operations, he found it challenging to maintain control over his criminal empire. Nevertheless, he continued to communicate with his American associates and remained a vital figure in the Mafia hierarchy. Lucky's longtime allies, Meyer Lansky and Bugsy Siegel, went on to build their criminal empires. Lansky, the financial wizard, played a pivotal role in the establishment of Las Vegas as a gambling mecca, while Siegel's ambition and flamboyance led to his assassination in 1947, allegedly due to his mismanagement of the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. As the years passed, Lucky Luciano's health began to decline. Suffering from a heart condition, he knew his time was running out. His influence with the Mafia started to wane, and younger mobsters jockeyed for power, eager to fill the void left by the aging crime boss. On January 26, 1962, the man who had once been the most powerful figure in the American Mafia died of a heart attack at Naples International Airport. Charles Lucky Luciano's death marked the end of an era. He left behind a legacy of innovation, ruthlessness, and cunning that would change the face of organized crime.